Right, the first thing to decide upon is the press release. So what do you think? Do you think we should have something...
Well, I think the best thing to do with the press release, I'd rather just put, I want it to be Dayglow, and I think pink and black is always good. And it's cheap. It'll be very, very cheap. And no, because what we're going to do, make up postcards or something and spend our fortune making up crappy postcards that everybody's bored with. I mean, who wants that? Nobody.
Well, the budget's already been spent on the sleeve.
Okay, right. Well, so that's it.
Okay.
Dayglow, and we'll just Xerox it. In fact, there's new Dayglow Xerox paper, we'll use that.
Okay, one thing, since there's a hidden microphone in this room, which I've neglected to tell you about, is that probably we can probably use this for the interview bit, and maybe we should talk about the forthcoming singles collection.
No, well, wait a minute, I need to adopt a new persona. Wouldn't I?
Yeah.
No things.
But it's obviously going to sound a lot less contrived if you just talk about what your ideas for the singles collection.
Well, wait, I'd have to appear as if I've got ideas.
You said you're coming round with a few ideas. Switch that on there.
Listen then, well, I'll just become Alan Horne now, right?
Okay.
And just start talking as if I am Alan Horne. That'd be best thing, really.
Right, I take it now you've got your Alan Horne persona on. Let's discuss the packaging ideas for forthcoming Orange Juice singles collection.
Well, I don't know why we need to go through this again, because we've done it. I
No,
think
but now...
it should be a cardboard box.
Yeah.
Like that spectacle case I showed you.
Yep.
And not with the metal bits, just because I don't think they're very good. And just a simple cardboard box, and it'll just be the size of the CD, and I don't want any of those digipack plastic holder bits. I think we should just... Right, we'll put the CD inside singles bag thing. We'll just have a 5-inch singles bag, like the cowboy bag or something like that, and that'll be the... In fact, that is the same as the cardboard.
Yeah.
Just use the same colours. And then you've just got to decide whether it's a poster or a booklet thing to put all the bits and pieces in. And I don't think we should do a poster, because I think unless it's a big poster, it's not worth doing, and you can't fold that up into a 5x5 square.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have hundreds of creases, and it's just going to look crap.
I think the main criterion should be, when we're doing these kind of things from the so-called postcard vaults, is that they should look period. So I think the idea of resurrecting the cowboy bag is probably sound. So not in the Manchester sense of the word.
Sound?
Yeah, is a sound idea.
Sound, an idea and sound.
By the same token, Rick Wakeman's challenge to the centre of a gatefold and beautiful booklet.
Well, I don't know what to say.
I think that's a bit of a non-sequitur.
I'm just bored. Sorry.
When you first started, or when we all chipped in and first started postcarding in the old days, were you surprised at the attention you got? Or did you just think that was your just reward for pestering every journalist and DJ in London?
But I didn't, I didn't pestering every DJ and journalist in London. I didn't really do that.
Well, it's something, obviously...
No, I got a lot more credit for things than I actually deserve.
Well, if I was starting afresh now and I'd never been involved in music before and I was just starting a musical career now, I wouldn't really have the front to barge into Peel's office, for example.
But that was because that was the psychological problem, wasn't it, really? That was just an expression of problems I had.
Yeah, but we went into everyone's office personally.
I never felt any fear of these people. What do you mean, like you wouldn't be able to do that? I just thought John Peel was an old git. He just seemed like such an old git, and then when we came across him, I was right, wasn't he? He was an old git. And I don't know, it's just a horrible attitude born out of insecurity and inferiority complexes and terrible adolescence, and I guess it just all explodes in this horrible persona, and then plus, there's too much speed as well. The things you do on that sulfate stuff, that's just hideous. But it was just the times, wasn't it?
Well, you won't be playing this interview disc to your mother.
Well, she wouldn't know what I was talking about, probably.
And are you reticent to talk about your influences these days, since we made a thing of that in the past?
Well, I thought that was an interesting thing to do, just state your influence. I mean, it's a very stupid thing to do, isn't it? I mean, I guess we knew at the time, but I don't know, it just...
Well, people need some kind of frame of reference when you're starting, so people...
I'll tell you what was good, was because, the times and what we'd been through 2 years of just bass player wanted into Velvet Stooges dolls, you know what I mean? And you had that scenario where everybody was just like a cruddy version of the Pistols or the Clash, and there's nothing much going on. And so I guess we were the first people to, look beyond those kind of three-sided groups and take a bit of this, a bit of that, and put it in the blender. And I guess we had carte blanche. We could go and take anything we wanted and mix and match.
Yeah, but why do you have such a phobia against people scratching tiny scalpel blades on desks?
I just don't even want to talk about that. Let's move straight on. Oh dear. Didn't bring me round for this, did you?
So,
what my influences, did you say?
Yeah.
I don't know. God, everything's influenced me.
Well, people always want to know. They always want to know where somebody's coming from.
Or going. Right back there. I don't know, everything. God, especially when you're taking speed. I mean, everything just goes right in your head and out the other side. It's just a fucking dustbin. I don't know. Oh no, you know what I like? I mean, I liked all those 60s records for a while, but I mean, not in the way, those kind of kids nowadays seem to look in the 60s as a golden age. I never thought it was a golden age, and the hellish time to growing up. Just all this banal young people thing,
I don't know if that's absolutely true. I mean, it was you personally that came across that came up with the idea of paraphrasing the Sound of Young America slogan for the Sound of Young Scotland.
Just because it was so ludicrous. Because it was so bad, I thought it was a good thing to do.
And also, both, particularly Stephen and yourself, you were always quite heavily critical of labels, especially independent labels you felt were run by old men, because after punk there was a premium on
everybody
youth.
Needs a stance,
So you didn't really feel that?
Oh yeah, I did. Yeah, but everybody needs a stance. Well, it's good when you feel your stance, it gives it more conviction. No, I guess all bullshit apart, that's true. I mean, it was that way. I mean, it's still, when you look back on it, it seems even clearer now, with hindsight, than it did at the time. That in fact all the other labels at the time were run by people with a good 5 to 10 years on us. Mm-hmm. And had either run businesses or were running businesses, or, TV presenters, in fact, some of them, and all sorts of things. And they were really quite well-adjusted, stable, approaching middle-aged men.
Right. And
we're only reaching that stage now. And still I don't feel too up to it, really. And, you know what I mean? So, fucking shirts, completely insecure little tits that couldn't really deal with it. In fact, they all, that old chestnut, they go, why didn't Postcard continue like Factory or Mute or whatever? And, and the answer is not really why didn't we do things, it's how the fuck did we manage to do anything?
Yeah, I suppose so.
Really, I mean, God.
The other thing I think, that, especially in retrospect, that I'm still living down to this day, is the other stance, if you like, that we took was that we naively said, without having any real understanding of the process, that we were aiming for the charts.
I know, but that was a really good thing to be saying. I think that was funny. In fact, I mean, it was quite demented over a while, didn't it?
Yeah. Well, when we first said it, we didn't understand anything about the machinations like strike forces and all the rest of it. And still to this day, I think people saw Orange Juice as a pop group who were, by dint of the fact that they didn't have very many mainstream hits.
Oh, right, and they weren't popular, and then it becomes what is all these words. I don't like the words. But, no, I mean, the whole point was we weren't trying to make records that were currently as, kind of music that would be popular. we were actually doing what we wanted to do, and we wanted them to be hits, and by the sheer nature of the beast, it's just a thing that sells, so many thousand copies per week in certain shops. That becomes a popular hit of the day.
Yeah.
And that was all we were wanting. We weren't trying to make pop music in some sense. I mean, pop music, I don't even know what people talk about when they talk about that half the time. It's usually some anachronistic thing, some 60s sound or something, when pop music came along in the 50s or 60s, and they just stuck with that idea of it. And, I mean, I don't know what it all is. It's all just terminology. It's all boring.
We were also...
No, but I mean, I just thought it seemed like a good thing to do because no one else was doing it. And it's just, that's what we did. So many things that were just done out of sheer bloody mindedness and contrariness, don't they?
Yeah, but I could say tomorrow that I was flying to the moon, but unless I had a huge rocket ship out in the back garden, it would...
Oh, no, it's far better to be thinking you are going to the moon without the rocket ship. I don't think the rocket ship's important, just like the strike force isn't important.
Right. So you don't think it was naive, considering right up to the time of just after Poor Old Soul launches his final single for Postcard, that ethically Rough Trade, who were the manufacturers and distributors for Postcard, didn't want to use strike forces. They thought it was major shenanigans, corrupt shenanigans.
Well, I don't know. I don't think we were very philosophically sound in that way. I don't think it was very interesting to us at that time. We weren't interested.
Yeah,
it just seemed like a good scam, good thing to be up to. I mean, I still don't have much time for philosophy.
You'd have fooled me, mate. Obviously, we've been doing a bit of very self-indulgent research for this project. I mean, literally self-indulgent. And one of the things we came across that, well, I'd have forgotten about anyway, was anti-rock. What was anti-rock all about?
Oh, what was that? Don't tell me what was anti-rock all about.
No, but I'm adopting the persona here of the interviewer.
Well, no.
I can't say...
All right, okay, well, no, I think that was okay. I think that was quite funny, really, in hindsight.
I mean, it kind of got
we thought it up in Brussels.
overshot.
We thought it up when that hotel in Brussels. You had the flu, and we had a Melody Maker interview to do the next day or 2 days later or something. And we thought, what were we going to say to them? And we were thinking of that Bowie interview where Bowie came out and everything and used it to get loads of attention. We thought, well, if you're going to talk to Melody Maker, because at the time a Melody Maker was really boring, wasn't it? I mean, it was a paper you never
It's
looked
not
at.
the dynamic, exciting news.
Oh
today.
no! It's probably the same people, but no. But you know how it's really boring. We just thought we'd just have fun, and we thought up anti-rock, which I think was quite a good idea.
I suppose it was good in Melody Maker because at that time Melody Maker was very much a
Rock.
musician's paper.
Or even rock. If we were going to be anti-rock, they would rock.
Well, we're kind of upstaged a bit because Pete Wiley had this rockist.
But that came out the exact same week.
I know.
That was bizarre.
Which it kind of tripped off the tongue.
But no, it was a kind of thing that was going around anyway, like an idea that's going around, kind of collective unconscious thing, I guess.
Yeah, unconscious.
Totally unconscious.
Yeah. But I can't really remember the idea behind it.
Well, it was just, I don't know, it was just boredom with all the cliche traditions of everything that would, I don't know. And also I think we saw that post-punk and all those things were going a bit awry, weren't they? They were going kind of progressive rock and all these kind of things working on, and it all seemed boring.
The remains of the Pistols had metamorphosis into the Professionals, which was more kind of like a very straight
really
rock thing.
Limping days.
And it was kind of rock without the art. You know?
I think that's all it was really. It was just another stance to be taken.
Yeah.
And but it was good. In fact, I would think the Pet Shop Boys are quite anti-rock. They've done some good anti-rock. Carried that on, and they're the very thing itself, aren't they?
Yeah. I mean, the thing was, in these days, what we really had a hatred for, like I would never have considered at that time, or we would never have considered, for example, working with anybody from Stiff. I would never have been on Demon, had Demon existed in these days.
Hellish.
Because
pub rock. Pub rock was
that was a consensus we shared with a lot of kind of post-punk labels, that we didn't want anything to do with stiff or the pub rock.
Although
side
my
of things.
generation was on stiff, that was a problem. It shouldn't have been, should it? No, I mean everything that on stiff, like Elvis Costello, that always seems so fusty and depressing, and like bar music, pub band music or something, or just old rehashed Van Morrison or something like that. It just seemed all pedantic, all piffle, and there was so much of that. It was all this revivalism that was going on, and nobody was reviving anything very interesting and twisting it up.
I suppose in these days, just as people get kind of, or got righteous about people jumping on their house bandwagon of whatever, old men jumping on the house bandwagon, we were always very suspicious.
New wavers of new wavers, yeah.
And,
On the, every other bandwagon that came along. But no, I'll tell you another thing, because in the early 80s, I guess people were starting to hone up their ideas about stadium rock and getting into the stadiums again, and all the funny thinking was back, wasn't it?
yeah, that's true.
And U2 and all these people were starting to build this huge kind of career plan or whatever they were.
And worst of all, Glasgow's own Simple Minds.
Oh well.
A big bugbear of mine has always been, how is Postcard ran and how will it be run?
A bugbear.
A big bugbear.
Let's try and iron that problem out now. No. It wasn't really ran, was it? It just went from day to day in kind of complete chaos. Well, I mean, I certainly didn't want to run any kind of business. I never got into to run a business.
Yeah, but we've got 10 years of the legacy of Thatcher. You have to take business seriously.
And didn't get through to me. I must be the only person left here.
No, I mean now.
Completely oblivious to it.
Thatcher only started when before.
Oh, I know what you mean. I mean, now, it still hasn't got through to me. I don't know how well I'd be able to run a business now. We'll have to see.
Well, it's always been a big bugbear of mine.
Oh, God, well, let's iron that out for you. But, no, who cares? I mean, really. I mean, the thing is, you won't, I mean, it's difficult enough just doing art. I can't begin to think about commerce. So, next question, Eddie.